Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we're just going to do a quick recap of the market and look at some of the stocks that I'm looking at based on what happened over the week. So let's start off. We always start off with looking at the SPY, the general markets, right, to see how the overall market's doing, and then from there we can go down to the different stocks that we find value in. So let's first look at SPY. So as you can see, we're outside of our regularly uptrending channel, and we're in a sideways trending channel now. The MACD is curling downwards. RSI is moving downwards. There's talks about inflation and Russia, and basically it's not looking good as far as the fundamentals are concerned in the short term. Long term, I believe that markets will come back, but we have to be aware that there are some short term headwinds, right? So let's look at the Russell. Russell is kind of doing the opposite, right? There's been some upward momentum and it continues to move upward. So I think the reason for that is that smaller cap stocks have been beaten down so much harder than the large cap. So now it just makes sense that since they were beaten down worse, they'll come back quicker. So looking at the Nasdaq, looks very similar to the SPY. Downward trending channel, looks to be continuing in that direction. Another thing that's very concerning is the VIX. The VIX is the volatility index. That red line is around the $20 mark. We like to see the market below that $20 mark. If it's below $20, that means the volatility is low and things are, status quo. Things are good. In times of volatility, you'll see it spike up, right? And as you can see, we're spiking up. If you look on the MACD, it's going up. So we have to be aware of that. One other gauge that we kind of use is the crypto market. So we can look at Bitcoin, and we'll see that Bitcoin is trying to find its footing, but it's falling as well. So the overall markets are falling. Bitcoin's falling. We might have some problems in the near-term future. But let's look at some stocks that I'm looking at here. Number one is Adobe. It's reached a nice level on the RSI. This is a stable stock, and I will continue to buy as it dips. In the same vein, another stable stock is American Water. Very good looking on the RSI. Looks like it could be curling back up, but it's done that before, and it continues to fall. So this is a relatively stable stock, and this is all none of what I say is financial advice. I'm just giving you my own opinion, so you're going to have to look at each company before you buy them, but just trying to give you ideas. So American Water Works is one that I'm looking at, just accumulating for the long term. Baidu, this is a Chinese stock. This is an interesting one, though, based on the news. And there was a news here that Baidu launches Apollo Go robo-taxi service in China. So it looks like they're starting to, and this is, I just read the headline. I haven't delved into this, but this is just something that you guys can look into if you're interested in Baidu. They're talking about launching its autonomous robotaxi service. So that's something Tesla's been talking about, but this is something going on with China. As far as the stock, I do hold Baidu because I believe in it long term, but it's been really trading sideways. I'd like to see what happens on the earnings. If it dips below, into our oversold territory, I will pick up shares. But right now, I think I'm just going to let it chill for now. So that's Baidu. Another one that I'm looking at here is Meta. So Meta obviously fell off a cliff over here, right? Based on its earnings and saying that the Apple terms of service and the whole deal with that. But the stock continues to fall. It looks like it's trying to curl back up as far as the MACD, but it's looking great on the RSI. I think long term this is a great stock, and I've been picking it up as it's been falling, So Facebook is one that I'll continue to buy as it falls. Interesting one here, Palantir. So I really believe in Palantir for the long term, but in the short term, they did well with earnings, but the I guess it'd be the forecasting for the next earnings, the outlook doesn't look good. So the stock is falling based on that news. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. I have shares even higher than 30, and you never want to see your portfolio go red. But if you believe in the company long term, it's actually a good opportunity to dollar cost average. So I've been buying as it falls. Every time we hit this below the 30 on the RSI, I'll pick up some more shares, and then it inevitably falls more, and then I buy more. I bought heavy down over here, so my cost is lower, but the stock continues to go lower too. So basically, we're just racing till we reach a bottom, I guess. I don't know, but Palantir I think is good long term, so I've been picking up shares. PayPal, very similar to Palantir. It just continues to fall. Every time it looks like it has a nice little support, it drops again. Started to go back up for earnings, and then it dropped again. So very similar to Facebook. I've been picking up shares of Palantir for the long term. One other interesting thing about Palantir, though, that I wanted to point out is that there was a insider buying, right? So the director on February 8th purchased 8,400 shares. And what's interesting about this is I don't really take too much stock in insider selling, because people sell for any reason, tax purposes, or if they think the stock is going to go down. But you never really know why someone's selling. You always know when someone's buying. If someone's buying, it's because they think that they're going to get a return. So I think that's a good symbol for any PayPal owners out there. Shopify, it's continuing to fall, but I think it's at a great level here. I have shares I will continue to pick up as long as it's below our RSI 30 over here, right? Walgreens Boots Alliance fell out of its trend, its slight upward trend. Great dividend stock. It's almost reached the oversold levels that I like, so I will be picking up shares for the long term. Waste Management, very similar. It's kind of trying to find its sideways movement, but I'll be picking up shares of them as well. And the last one here is CAT. So stable, relatively stable company. Good dividend yield on this one. Fell out of the trend channel. Not based on earnings, right? Because the earnings are, in the past a little bit here, but fell out of its downward trending channel. Looks like it's going to continue to fall. I'm going to start to accumulate at these levels. Again, holding it for the long term. I compare it to Deere. Deere has a more upward trending channel, but they're getting hit as well. So I think both of these are good stocks. And let me know what you guys are looking at for next week. Let me know if I hit any of your favorites. Let me know if there's some that I missed. And I'll see you guys on the next one.